Okay, so just state your name and your occupation here.
My name is Don Fitzgerald. I'm a social studies teacher at Lafayette Jefferson High School.
Okay, what's the biggest struggle that you typically see students with disabilities deal with?
I think that when we start talking about students with disabilities, especially at this level, one of the biggest struggles that they have is the desire to fit in and be accepted by their peers, and balancing that with the desire to do well in school. So, for example, for that would be sometimes I'll have students who are allowed to leave the classroom and take extra class time to take an exam, but they don't want to leave the classroom to take the exam because that may show other people that they are quote unquote different. So, especially, another way that I can kind of show you how that would fit would be if we have a student who maybe has a disability where they're not good at speaking in front of a group of people, right? Let's say they will purposely sign up to do a group project or whatever else, and then just not do anything because they don't want that weakness to be brought out in a group environment.
So are your students with disabilities welcome environments with their peers who do not have disabilities?
Are they welcomed?
Yeah.
I think that for the most part, depending on the level of high school class you teach, but by the time you come into the junior and senior year of high school, I think that most students kind of understand that there are people who are different. And so since they understand that there are people who are different, in those classes, it's pretty much just a non-issue. When you start talking about the freshman level classes and the immaturity level still left over from middle school, we see a lot of kids who struggle, who are made fun of, who are belittled, who are the targets for the mocking, and so on and so forth. Best example right now, I currently have a student in my U.S. history class who has a deal. He's on the autism scale, and he also suffers from Asperger's syndrome. He just blurts stuff out. He can't stop himself from doing that. He just blurts out things. A couple days ago, we were talking about China, and he all of a sudden he just goes, "If you think the inside or the outside of the human body is disgusting, you should see the inside."
Randomly?
Yeah, just randomly, the rest of the class is just like still looking at me, still going on. That's just who that kid is.
Yeah.
Okay.
How are the students evaluated differently?
The students are evaluated differently based on the information that we get from their teacher of record. So I have some students who, when you look at their IEPs, that I can't count anything off for spelling, or I have to create tests or quizzes that instead of having one right answer and 3 incorrect answers, they may have to have 1 right answer and 1 incorrect answer, or they may have I may have to give additional time for a project. I may tell students that they have a week to do something, and then that student may have 3 weeks to do something. It all depends on the IEP and how that goes.
So I know you're talking about how they take like the different tests, but like in your class, is that just you give them more time and then you switch like the questions on the test? Is that how they're just evaluated differently then?
It all depends. Again, it depends on the student. Like let's say you have a student who is severely dyslexic. Okay? One of the things that you could do with that student then is you could evaluate them by giving them the opportunity to show what they know in different ways. So the exam may be worth 100 points, but I may give them a project that's worth 100 points, or I may give them an interview session, or what some people call an oral test, that's worth 100 points, so that way we can reach the student where they are at.
Okay. Is there a different way you have to motivate your students in your classroom with disabilities to get them to cooperate or participate and do certain things in the classroom?
Yeah, I think so, but it's not the answer you're looking for. The answer that you're looking for on that is that you're supposed to, approach them and explain to them that it's okay to be different and blah, 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 and so on and so forth. And instead, I think the way that I try to motivate people is by having them understand that they have a gift, but at the same time, they are held accountable in the workforce. in the workforce, they don't come up to you and go, well, you're dyslexic, so it's okay if you screw up. You need more. Well, it's fine. They don't do that. So if you want to become a valued member of a workforce or so on and so forth, it's about taking the abilities and skills that you do have, maximizing that potential, and not making excuses for the things that you are not very good at.
I know in the past, a student in your classroom went down and did the pumpkin carving and the Christmas decorating and other things like that. What other unique events or clubs personally do you do because I know at peer tutoring you have the students get involved in certain aspects too.
Yeah, I think with peer tutoring, we try to get involved with kids who have disabilities, special needs. We've done different things with Special Olympics before. We go around to, like you said, we go downstairs to one of the classrooms that we buddy up with, and we do some different holiday types of things, and sometimes we do as far as like activities together or events together, just because it gives my quote-unquote regular students a better appreciation and understanding of what it's like to work with people who have disabilities.
And then last question, what are your main goals when it comes to special education for the students?
To maximize what the student is capable of doing and encouraging them to continue to learn and grow and not use their disability as an excuse.
Thank you.